Hey, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Ivy, and today I'm going to be doing a book haul. I haven't done one of these in almost a year. I feel like it actually has been a year since the last one, so I have a ton of books to talk about, and I'm super excited. The first book I have is Heretics Anonymous by Katie Henry. Our main character, Michael, is an atheist, and he is starting at a Catholic high school. Michael joins a group called the Heretics Anonymous. They are rebels, and they cause chaos in a really strict environment, and I am so excited for this one. I always love telling people that I have experienced Catholic school. I went to one for a year, and I by no means hate Catholic schools. I just think it was not for me, and it's definitely a very interesting setting, and this sounds like it's going to be so much fun. It's described on here as a divine comedy, which I'm so excited for. I hope this makes me laugh so hard. Next is Skyhunter by Marie Lu. Can we just talk about how gorgeous this book is? I mean, first of all, look at this, and look at that, and look at that. And I haven't seen it naked. Well, I probably have, I just don't remember. Oh my god. Marie Lu is one of my favorite authors of all time. I buy everything that she writes. I got to meet her one time, which was awesome. This follows our main character named Talon. She lives in Mara, which is one of the last free nations, and she's a striker, which means that she fights back against the Carenza Federation. That's all I really know about this because, like I said, Marie Lu is my favorite author. I read whatever she writes, and this cover is gorgeous, so I just like having it on my shelves. I will read it, obviously, but look! Next is another really pretty book, and that is an Encyclopedia of Tolkien by David Day. This is just a bunch of information about Middle-earth. It's about the lands and the characters and the languages and the history, and I'm obsessed with Middle-earth, so I'm super excited to dive into this. It also has illustrations in it, which I'm gonna try to find one. I mean, just look at the end papers. I mean, come on, it's gorgeous. A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Is it Maas or Moss? I don't know. I should know. I'm sure you've heard of this if you're on here watching BookTube, but this is a friend of mine's favorite series. She gave this to me for Christmas. Still haven't read it yet because I'm the worst. I think the main character's name is Feyre. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. Feyre accidentally kills a fairy, which then leads to her being dragged into this magical kingdom and meeting this person who's a fairy and probably falling in love, and that's all that I know. I just know a lot of people love it, and I'm gonna read it. Wayward Sun by Rainbow Rowell. So this is the second book in the Simon Snow series. The first book is called Carry On. In the first book, Simon Snow is the chosen one, and he attends Watford School for Magics. Simon has been feuding for years with his roommate Baz, who turns out to be a vampire. Carry On is very heavily inspired by Harry Potter, but it's also its own thing with a really unique and fun magic system. In this book, some of the characters from Carry On are going on a road trip across America. Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. These are the first and second books in the Last Hours trilogy, which is part of the overall Shadowhunters Chronicles. These are the sequel books to the Infernal Devices trilogy, which is probably my favorite Shadowhunter series. We follow Cordelia Carstairs as she and her brother and her mom are moving to London to try and salvage the family reputation after Elias, Cordelia's father, has been accused of a crime and taken into custody. Once she gets to London, Cordelia is reunited with her childhood friends Lucy and James Herondale, and she also meets a bunch of other people and kind of joins the London social scene. All is not well, however, because there are a series of strange demon attacks, and of course our shadow hunters have to figure out what's going on and fight evil, and there's romance and friendship and drama, and it's a fun time. Did I mention it takes place in Victorian era London? It takes place in Victorian era London, so I mean, come on. Next, I have a ton of Shusterman books. We have Scythe by Neal Shusterman, which, you know, is another super popular one that I still haven't read, but I have it, so progress. This takes place in a world where humankind has beaten death. We figured out how to not get sick and die, we're immortal now, and everything's fine and dandy. However, there are these people called Scythes, who get to decide who gets killed because they need to control the population because no one dies of natural causes anymore, so scythes. And I'm pretty sure there's 2 main characters and they're training to become scythes. So they're killing people, and it's probably very dark and very exciting. I've heard nothing but good things about this series, and I know that once I finally get to it, I'm going to really enjoy it because I love Neal Shusterman. Game Changer by Neal Shusterman. I need to take this sticker off because that's annoying. But anyways, this is his newest release. This is about a boy named Ash. He's a football player, and every time he gets hit on the football field, he gets transported to another dimension. What a great concept. I'm sorry, but that's like such a great hook. As far as I know, I think he keeps being sent to this alternate dimension or to different alternate dimensions, and each time it gets more and more intense, and he learns a lot, and I am excited for this. Just the concept alone is so intriguing to me. And the third and final Neal Shusterman book that I have for you today is Challenger Deep, which has like 3 awards on it. I mean, come on, it's gotta be good. This has a really vague description. A high schooler is on a mission that's trying to go to the deepest point on Earth. I don't know what's going on here. It's very, very, very vague, but I kind of like that. And, you know, by the cover it looks really intriguing, and obviously the awards make me really want to read it, so we'll see what happens. Next, I have Gone by Michael Grant. This takes place in a town. I think it's just a town where all the adults disappear, but all the kids are left over. So you've got toddlers, middle schoolers, teenagers, and no adults. Just all of a sudden, no warning whatsoever. This sounds like absolute trash, but it also sounds really fun. Like, I hope it gives me the over-the-top drama and just craziness that I'm craving when I read a book like this. And I mean, it has a really ugly cover, but at least it's wraparound. I mean, that's kind of fun. Thinking about what would happen if all adults disappeared one day and teenagers were left to, like, survive together and have to work out a civilization and stuff like that is so intriguing. And I hope it's better than I think it's gonna be. Moxie by Jennifer Mathieu. Our main character, Vivian, is going to high school in a small Texas town, and because of what she learns about her mom's past, she decides to spearhead a feminist rebellion in her school. This has a movie that came out on Netflix, and I read it to be able to watch the movie. It was so much fun. It was so empowering and good, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. Next, I have this gorgeous book. It's The Art of the Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, but who put it together? Wayne G. Hammond and Christina Scull. My understanding of this is that it's just a bunch of Tolkien's art, like art that Tolkien himself did of Middle-earth. Of him creating Middle-earth, so there's maps and sketches and, you know, there's explanations for all of it, but it's an absolutely gorgeous book. Look at this. This is like the designs for the books. I guess he drew them himself. I'll have to read it to find out, but so cool. Look how gorgeous. I'm so excited to look through this and really just appreciate it. Dune by Frank Herbert. I actually bought this book and I'm so scared. I'll be honest, the reason that this book is even on my radar is because of the movie that's coming out with Timothée Chalamet. I do really like him, and the trailers look really good. I'm not sure about any of the specifics of what this is about, but I know it's very environmentalist, which is pretty cool, and there's also something with a spice. Like, I think there's lots of conflict over a really rare spice. And, I mean, it's a pretty thick book, and it might be super boring, but I'm telling myself, if I read the Silmarillion cover to cover, I can read this, right? Sure. Book of Lost Tales, Part 1 by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is Volume 1 of the History of Middle-earth. I believe there are 12 volumes. This contains the earliest accounts of gods, elves, dwarves, orcs, the Silmarils, the Trees of Valinor, so it's a bunch of stuff from, like, before Middle-earth is really even created, which is super exciting. Obviously, I'm gonna read all 12 of these eventually, but I'm just gonna start with this one for now. Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. So this is the sequel to Six of Crows, which I've had on my shelves for a while. Haven't read it yet. I've wanted to read it for a really long time, before I even knew about the Netflix show, but now I really want to read it so that I can watch the show. I know that Six of Crows is a really well-loved heist novel with a great cast of characters, and that sounds right up my alley, so I just went ahead and bought this one because I'm sure I'm gonna love it. Again But Better by Christine Riccio. So Christine Riccio is one of my favorite booktubers of all time. She was one of the first people that I ever watched, and she's amazing. Her channel is called Poland Bananas Books, and this is her book, and it came out a while ago now, but I was waiting for it to come out in paperback because I don't have an income, and it finally did, and it's so pretty, and I got the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, and it's making me so happy. Our main character, Shane, is studying abroad in London, and she is doing her best to make this, like, second chance at college be better than her first experience. That's all that I really know. I want to go into this a little blind and just enjoy it. They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This has been on my radar for so long, and I finally bought it. This takes place in a world where you get a call 24 hours before you die. There's an app that you can get once you get the call, and you can connect with other people who are going to die in 24 hours. So it's about two characters who are going to die in 24 hours, and they meet up and possibly fall in love. I'm not sure. But they spend their last day together, and I'm sure this is going to make me cry so much. Okay, and then the last book that I have is Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. My friend had forgotten that she already owned this book, so she bought it, and then when she realized that she already had it, she's like, hey, do you want it? I was like, yeah. This is my favorite Shadowhunters book of all time, and I didn't have a copy yet, so I have one now and I'm really excited, but also now I have to get the first two. So this is the third book in the Infernal Devices trilogy. It's in Victorian England, and we follow Tessa Gray as she travels to London, and she is just thrown into the shadow world. She is kidnapped and learns that she has powers. She can shapeshift, and there are lots of people who are after her, and just a lot of stuff going on, and this trilogy is so incredible. I'm in love with the characters. It holds a very special place in my heart, so I'm so happy that I finally have a copy of the third book. Alright, so that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time with another video. Bye.